my beautiful friend. Welcome to another podcast episode. How are you doing today? I have to say, this summer is a lot of travel still. We just came back from Pennsylvania, visiting my mom and dad, and headed up to Canada for a little bit. So we're back for a little bit, and then we head out at the end of the month. So just lots of travel, having lots of fun this summer, and I hope you are too. And for those of you not in the United States and aren't experiencing summer like my Australian friends, I hope you're experiencing a nice winter and summer is coming up soon. So, I wanted to, before we get started in today's podcast episode, I wanted to say I'm super excited about Midlife Metabolic Makeover. We just made some tweaks to the program based on the last few people who have been through the program, giving us great feedback. So, we've just updated the website page so you can check it out for Midlife Metabolic Makeover. So, this is my women only program. And what we really look to do is really design a program for your health, your longevity, and feeling vibrant in the second half of your life. So, midlife, right, is a time where we go through perimenopause and menopause, and there is a lot changing inside of our body. And if you are on my email list, you know that I sent out an email a couple Sundays ago talking about the new and exciting stuff going on at the FDA, the new roundtable that happened that's talking about bioidentical hormones and some of the changes that they're recommending, because we are behind the science with these products and people are being harmed because of fear mongering and really not learning about hormones and all the benefits they provide to the body. And so that part is covered inside of this midlife metabolic makeover, but not extensively. We covered that on coaching calls. And so I put that more into the coaching calls. What this program is really about is focusing on other things you can be doing in addition to or instead of hormone replacement therapy. And if you need help with hormone replacement therapy, of course, I help the women in the program understand, because it's a confusing area. I find that, as I mentioned on podcasts before, some of the doctors are even and prescribers are even confused in this area. And I really want to help you be smart so that you can advocate for yourself, so that you can know what you're asking for, what you're wanting, how to have that discussion, and how to find a provider that can help you get where you want to be. For some people, that could be me, right? For some people, it wants to be somebody in their area and in their state. And I totally get that, right? You want to develop that rapport and that relationship and be able to be on these products that are going to help you feel better and live longer and be less ailments, right? You're not going to have less joint pain. There's just so much. I'm not going to go into all of that here, but we've made some tweaks to the program. I'm super excited about it. I've just updated the website page and made all the changes so that you could see all those changes. This is a 10-week program. Many women who have been through the program have lost weight. You will see one of the testimonials on my website as well. This woman was just couldn't lose those last 10 pounds. And this was the answer to losing those last 10 pounds. She had been on bioidentical hormones. She wasn't doing other things that she learned that she can maximize or even include. There were some things we took away from what she was doing because they were hindering her results. And so she was able to lose that last 10 pounds and she just feels amazing. So whether you have some weight to lose, a lot of weight to lose, don't want to lose weight, but you want to really just optimize how you feel, how you function. Maybe some people come in, they tell me they have depression or anxiety, and that's what they want to work on. They're feeling, moody with their hormones fluctuating, or they're just not feeling like themselves and they've lost their zest for life. So we work on all of these principles. And so there are 9 pillars that you go through in this 10-week program. And as I mentioned, we just made some changes to make it even better. So check that out. That's on my website at Epic U, and just go to Midlife Metabolic Makeover, because this is really what we're doing is we're resetting your body for this next half of life. And so a lot of times we have to reset some patterns, right? Some things that worked in our 20s and 30s stops working when we hit 40s and 50s. And so we want to know what works in this phase of our life so that we can really enjoy our 60s, our 70s, our 80s, right? So check that out if you are interested. So for today, I want to talk about something while I was updating that website page that's going to be so a key example as I go through this topic today. And that is something that holds a lot of women back, particularly high achieving women who are used to getting things done, very productive, very high achieving, find a lot of success in life. And there's this one area that I find I'm able to identify it because I suffer from it. I still do. And it's an area that can hold us back and keep us stuck. And what I'm talking about is perfectionism, rumination, overthinking about something, thinking it needs to be optimal in order for it to go out, for us to take action on it, for us to be able to move forward. So when we get in this perfectionist mindset, we can oftentimes stall our own progress. Just think about an email that's like important that you're crafting, right? And if you tend to ruminate on it and you're not responding and you need to get somebody's input, or you put it into Chat GPT and Claude AI and you get all these inputs, oftentimes it can confuse us even more. We stew on it, we ruminate even more. We don't wind up sending it, we kicking the can down the road. And guess what? We don't take action on it. And it becomes a stressor in our lives. So perfectionism can stall progress. Perfectionism can prevent clarity. Perfectionism can prevent us from taking action. Perfectionism can cause us to be overwhelmed because now instead of getting things done, we're not getting the things we want done. And then that lines up on our calendar the next day and the next day and the next day. So just giving you the example in my own life, I was so eager to make these changes to midlife metabolic makeover. I just needed to go in and update the website and update the information. And I was talking to my VA and she's like, have you got that done yet? And I'm like, no, I'll get to it next week. So here's something I noticed is that I needed a week to know what the changes are that I already wanted to make. And did you hear what I said when I said it out loud? It's like I'm kicking this problem, this can down the road by a week because I'm thinking, oh, it'll be more perfect if I have more time. I can have more time to ruminate over and think about all the changes. And I see women do this with their drinking, right? Oh, it's not the right time for me to cut back. Oh, it's still summer. I'm still partying. And it'll be a better time. Or I don't know how I'm going to cut back. Or I don't have the perfect plan in place. I see that with people wanting to lose weight, right? They come to me and say, I don't know what the right plan is. And I know I need to meal prep and I need to grocery shop and I need to clean my pantry and I need to have an exercise plan and I need to have this and this. And they're just overwhelmed because they are thinking they need an optimal plan. And I will tell you, yes, it's nice to have strategy. I'm not saying go in reckless, right? But if you wait for everything to be perfect, what I find is you keep waiting and you keep waiting and you keep kicking that can down the road, meaning you're not addressing it, right? Oh, you'll get to it someday. Oh, you'll get to it next week, like I was on the website page. Oh, you'll get to it when the timing is right, when it's all polished. That's when you can send the email. When everything is all buttoned up is actually when it'll be off your plate. And I just want to offer for those of us that have that perfectionistic mentality, like myself, that is may not be helpful. So here's something I noticed that works in my life is that if I give myself more than 48 hours to do something that should take not a lot of time, such as updating a web page or whatever, if I'm giving myself more than 48 hours, I realize I might be being perfectionistic about it. And so I call this out in my coaching when I'm coaching women, right? When they're saying, oh, I don't have the perfect drink plan, or I don't know how many drinks I should have this week, or la, 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 right? It's like, oh, well, we don't have to be perfect about it. We just need to, dun, 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 do the antidote to perfectionism. So if you suffer with perfectionism, the flip side is taking action. Because we think the longer we think about it, the longer we ruminate on it, the more we have a perfect plan that everything will be successful. And that perfect plan will give us, or putting together a perfect plan is when we get all the clarity. And I want to remind you that's not what produces clarity. Clarity comes from taking some action. Some, not perfect, some action. Not before, but during or after. So as I was updating this web page, give my example in my own life, as I was updating this web page and doing it, and I was putting in some words. I'm like, nope, that's not exactly how I want to say it. Go back, delete, delete. And then I found the words. It wasn't before I started taking action that I found the words. It was during the action that I got the clarity. So I want you to really think about this, because a lot of times we push off our goals, we push off doing something important, we push off breaking bad habits because we think there's going to be some magical time where things are going to align and we're going to be perfectly executing some plan. Whereas what is more helpful, gets us more progress, is by taking some action on a half-designed plan. So let me give you an example that happens all the time when I work with women. It happens all the time. I don't know what to do with my drinking. I was trying all these ways to cut back. I was doing it by myself. I read this article. I read this book. But when I entered your program and you started coaching me, oh my gosh, I got so much clarity. I said, yes, because you took the action that was needed, right? You're taking the action of like, I'm getting help. I'm not doing this on my own. I'm getting somebody else's perspective, and I'm getting somebody's insight into my life on what's going on in my brain. And then when I see these patterns, because guess what? I have them too. And when I see perfectionistic patterns, I'm like, ding, ding, ding. My brain's like, ooh, lighting up because I know I suffer with that pattern. I'm able to call it out so that we can change it. Now, see, if I'm not on to myself in my perfectionistic ways, if I didn't have this 48-hour mark, right? And I said to my VA, yeah, it's going to take another week. There's no bells or whistles going off. There's no self-awareness that I'm having perfectionistic qualities. But there is when I said, oh, I need a boundary with myself. And if it's over the 48-hour mark, I know that that might be something that I'm worried about perfectionism. Now, not all the time is it, right? I might be out on vacation. There might be a legitimate reason why I need to kick the can down the road another 7 days. But in this scenario, I did not. This scenario was definitely about perfectionism. And so I want you to notice that for you. Because if you're high achieving, you're used to going after things, you're used to accomplishing things, you're taught there's a right way and a wrong way. Maybe you're used to getting good grades. And so the A means something to your self-esteem, means you put in your best effort. And I'm not saying not to put in your best effort. I'm just saying don't have a bar so high in the beginning that you take no action. Because here's the bottom line. Imperfect action is better than no action at all. An imperfect plan is better than having a perfect plan that you take no action on. So a lot of times we get all up in our heads, and I work with really cognitive women, really intelligent, really smart women who are all up in their heads. And it's like, that could be a barrier sometimes if we're always in our heads. Because it's our feet and our legs and our fingers that need to move too, right? We need to start taking the action. And so when you take the action, here's the beautiful thing. That's when you get clarity. Clarity doesn't come before taking the action. And that's where a lot of us think, oh, if I have the perfect plan, if it's optimal, then I'll just naturally want to start taking action and everything will fall into place. And that's not how life works. Life gives us chaos. Life gives us tires that deflate. Life gives us subways that don't come on time. Life gives us rain when it's supposed to be sunny, right? Life gives us, we're feeling unmotivated when we want to feel motivated, right? Life is not about perfection. Life is about being adaptable. And one of the ways to be adaptable is to start taking action and not waiting for perfection, because we will be waiting and waiting and waiting. So perfectionism stalls progress, it steals momentum and stalls momentum, and it doesn't give us clarity. It really doesn't. It's taking the action that's going to give us clarity. So I like to kind of wrap up this podcast episode with a couple of things. And one is, if you think you have procrastination or perfectionism tendencies, right? That could be a reason you're procrastinating, is you have high standards, like so high standards, like everything needs to be an A plus, everything needs to be well thought out before you take the action. Just notice if that's costing you anything and what that's costing you. Is that costing you to kick the can down the road, not break unhealthy cycles in your life, not get off the drinking thing, waiting till the right time to lose the weight, waiting for the right time or the kids to go back to school to drop the weight or to really look at your health and try to optimize how you're feeling? Are you just putting everything off and in that waiting area, which for a lot of people can feel worse than actually taking some action? And if it is costing you something, then you can ask yourself the next question. Well, what action, small, imperfect, can I take today that will take me closer to the woman I want to be? That will take me closer to breaking up with unhelpful habits or patterns and put me into the arena of where I really want to be and becoming that woman I want to be. So, what is your perfection costing you? And what small action can you do today? And then I want to end with a James Clear quote that I got from his newsletter. It's so spot on for today's podcast. And it goes, whenever you are stuck searching for the optimal plan, remember, just getting started changes everything. All right, my beautiful friend, thank you for joining me today on the podcast, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Health Habits and Epic Living podcast. If you're ready to take the next step to improve your health, wellness, and lifestyle goals, head over to www.epicu.com and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Again, that's EPICYOU.com. Please note that the information in this podcast is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice.